Everyone in AI is using the same buzzwords: tokens, RAG, agents, and now harnesses, whatever that's supposed to mean. The language evolves so quickly that it's really hard to keep up. But there's one buzzword which nobody is talking about yet, and that's MLX. But I think that might change next month when Apple holds its 2026 Worldwide Developer Conference. So, what is MLX? Well, MLX is the secret behind Apple's AI success. And in this video, I'm going to explain why it changes the conversation completely. And I'll give you a sneak peek of the on-premise AI engine that our team has built on Apple using MLX. So to put it simply, MLX is just a piece of software that Apple released, which lets AI models run on Apple silicon chips. I don't think Apple has said officially what MLX means, but the community seems to think it means Machine Learning Explore, based on how Apple uses the name on GitHub. But the name's pretty boring, but the technology is not. So MLX is an AI framework, and there's lots of AI frameworks around that you might have heard of, like PyTorch and TensorFlow, and those were designed for one type of computer, with a CPU on one side and a GPU on the other, a bit like a gaming machine running Windows. I've already explained on this channel a few times why that model made sense historically, but these days it's very inefficient and expensive. NVIDIA, which still dominates AI today, started as a company making gaming GPUs. And that's because Intel, which made CPUs, wasn't interested in that market. So CPUs and GPUs have evolved separately to serve different markets. But Apple, on the other hand, took a different direction. They put the CPU, the GPU, and the neural engine all on the same chip. And by doing that, they discovered they made the whole thing far more efficient. And that's why Apple laptops and iPads perform vastly better than their Windows equivalents, because the hardware is just better. But in order to make use of its hardware, Apple needed an AI framework which took advantage of that architecture. And MLX is that. It's the framework that Apple built to take advantage of their system on a chip architecture. So let's think of it with this analogy. Imagine you're running a kitchen and you need to feed an army of people. So you need dedicated facilities to look after specific things. You might have an entire building dedicated to chopping vegetables. And when they're done, those vegetables get driven to another building where the chefs prepare the meals. And when they're ready, they get driven again to the restaurant. And if you're making enormous amounts of meals, that kind of specialization makes a lot of sense. But if you're making dinner at the home for the family, you can't afford to be driving across town to get hold and prepare ingredients. You want everything right there in front of you. So Apple Silicon is MLX with one kitchen, one workbench, one waiter, one cook. All of the ingredients are there ready on the bench, and everyone grabs what they need and they keep working. And that's it. That's the whole system on a chip advantage. The result is that a Mac studio sitting on a desk can do work that would normally require a server with a cooling system and a data center and a credit card with a high limit. So now let me show you what that actually looks like in practice. This is the Kiraa engine, and this is what my team and I have been building for the last 3 years, and it's designed to build and manage enterprise models locally, off the cloud, running on device. Now, to provide the LLM capability, I've got a quantized version of Google Gemma running locally, and it's been built natively for Apple MLX. As you can see, the response time is pretty reasonable. It's running on a MacBook M4 Max with 128 gig of RAM, which, if it was still available, would probably cost about 8,000 Australian or 5,000 US. And look, of course, that's a big investment. But the thing is, this was all generated locally. It cost me nothing per token. My electricity here is solar, so there's no API bill, no rate limit, and the data never left my machine. So the narrative the market is telling you that AI requires hyperscaler infrastructure and billions of dollars of capex and power and water just isn't true. And this brings me to the thing that I'm watching closely this year, which is Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference in June. For most of the last 3 years, Apple has been really low-key on AI, and everyone else has been screaming and making outrageous claims and making up jargon and buzzwords. But I think this year will be different. I think Apple will double down on the hardware story and the framework story. The M5 chips are out and MLX is now mature, and you've seen firsthand what's possible. If Apple wants to make a serious move in AI, this is the moment. And if they do that, the conversation about where the AI runs, on whose hardware, under whose terms is going to change very quickly. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing. And feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Dr. Earl Brandt, and I'll see you in the next one.